Okay, so this is a fast workshop if you're a teacher teaching multilingual students. I'm calling this a solo run workshop, which means you can pause when I tell you to pause and do the activity I tell you to do in that moment, and then come back. Part of this is to help people who may not be multilingual or haven't been in a while, or been in a context haven't been in a context where they've felt the difference in not having the language, so that they can better understand students who are multilingual in their classrooms or who are ESL, second language writing, translingual writers, or speakers. So if you're a teacher, here's your first step. I would tell you to write down, treat it like a free write. Describe your best day ever. Take 3 minutes, pause the video, and describe what was the best day you've ever had. Write that out, write nonstop for 3 minutes. Cool. Hopefully you paused. Now that you've done that, I'd like you to try and rewrite what you have there. We'll clean it up, and if you realized as you were writing free-write style that you needed to reorganize it, totally fine. I'd like you to rewrite it now with one set of rules in place. As you rewrite about the best day ever, you can't use words or things associated with the word family for happy, fun, joy, best, so good, better, best, things like that, or generally positive verbs. You have to be able to communicate the best day ever without using those types of words. Take a moment and try and do that for 2 minutes and write the best version you can come up with. So pause there. Hopefully you had a chance to do that for 2 full minutes. Now, compare the two, and you should have been able to feel the difference. And so what I'd like you to do is actually, before you do anything else, take a minute and now reflectively free write. What are you feeling? What did you feel as you tried to produce that other thing? Take 2 minutes and free write. Doing the fast version of this. Hopefully you paused and did that. I've run this with master's students. It's been a couple years since I've gotten to do it. But what usually happens is students start to realize how frustrating it is, or how it feels like the resources they can't use, right? And it's hard. You end up not being able to communicate the thing you want in as positive a term. Even if you're really creative, having just a whole chunk of your language resources shut off from you is part of the activity. To recognize what that might feel like when other people put rules and say, you're not allowed to do this in the classroom, or you're not allowed to do this for this activity. And so the level of frustration, possibly the level of learned helplessness that can show up. These are things that students might be going through when they're trying to express themselves, but are used to speaking or writing in a language other than English, or other than the primary language that your environment uses. So even if it's not English, it could be Spanish, English, it could be flopped. But if we as teachers don't take time to remember what frustration feels like, to remember what having part of our resources get diminished or denied, if we don't understand how that feels and we just go, why isn't the student doing what I'm telling, there's not a sense of empathy for the student there. And we want to be really careful as practitioners that we're setting up environments that people can succeed in. And if we are setting up rules or guidelines, whether it's as silly-ish as this best day and then you can't use positive words, like that is a very much manufactured context. Sometimes standard written English sociocultural norms have very manufactured reasons for why they are the way they are. And sometimes they're not even actual like grammar rules. I know some teachers will very much highly emphasize not starting sentences with a conjunction, right? If it's possible to be grammatically correct in a couple ways and still have a conjunction at the beginning of the word. Um, having students, sometimes telling students that they can only email you if they follow a very specific form, can create unnecessary layers of frustration or layers of separation that keep you from getting legitimate feedback, healthy feedback, or questions that when students are sincerely struggling. And so we want to be really aware of the power we hold in being able to craft an environment that others have to modify their behavior to. Because it's really easy to go, I set these rules, why aren't you following them? And it's a little bit harder sometimes to go, I can see why from your perspective, this is challenging, this is weird, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And so, and I'm just focusing on whether you're obeying and you're trying to do something, or it feels like busy work, or it feels like whatever it is, insert the thing here. But go back, don't lose sight of the feeling you had when you were trying to describe the best day in the world and just weren't allowed to use resources there. There's more to this, but if you haven't done that, it's a great thing to do as a starting point for empathy. And if you have better modifications you think I should add to this, let me know. This was the fast version. So have a good day.